There are moments in life when a single name can bring an entire city to tears, and for Manchester, that name was Ricky Hatton. The man who once made arenas thunder with chants of "There's only one Ricky Hatton" was now being remembered in a way only true legends are, with love, pride, and heartbreaking silence. As thousands filled the streets, it wasn't just the end of a boxer's journey. It was a farewell to a man who embodied the soul of Manchester itself. On a calm October morning in 2025, the city gathered to say goodbye to the man they called the Hitman. Ricky Hatton, the former two-weight world champion, had passed away at just 46, leaving behind a legacy that stretched far beyond boxing. His funeral wasn't just an event, it was a movement. From Hyde to the heart of Manchester, people lined the streets, waving flags, wearing blue scarves, and holding photos of their hero. Every chant, every tear, and every cheer carried one message: Ricky Hatton was family. The day began with a deeply emotional procession that started outside Hatton's favorite pub, the Cheshire Cheese in Hyde. The hearse, led by a vintage Reliant Regal, a clever nod to his favorite British sitcom Only Fools and Horses, moved slowly through the streets. Fans who had once watched him fight now stood shoulder to shoulder, quietly whispering prayers as his casket passed by. The route took him past Hightown Hall, his old gym, and finally through the very neighborhoods where he first trained, laughed, and dreamed. When the procession reached Manchester Cathedral, the atmosphere grew heavier, yet full of admiration. Though the funeral service inside was private, the thousands who stood outside felt connected to every word spoken. A brass band played, walking in a Hatton wonderland, and voices from the crowd joined in, transforming grief into a touching tribute. Even in death, Ricky brought people together, just as he always had in life. Inside the cathedral, close friends, family, and some of the biggest names in boxing gathered to pay their respects. Among the mourners were Tyson Fury, Tony Bellew, and Frazer Clarke, along with familiar faces from the world of sports and entertainment. Everyone who spoke about Ricky described him the same way: fearless in the ring, humble outside it, and always true to his roots. After the service, the cortege continued its journey to the Etihad Stadium, the home of Manchester City, Ricky's beloved football club. As the casket arrived, the sound of applause and cheers mixed with tears. The gates were surrounded by flowers, gloves, and heartfelt notes. Messages like "Thank you, champ," and "Forever in our hearts" painted the scene with emotion. Ricky's love for his city was well known, but the love Manchester showed him that day was something truly extraordinary. Ricky Hatton's career remains one of the most memorable in British boxing history. Known for his relentless fighting style and his ability to connect with ordinary people, he captured world titles in two-weight divisions and fought legends like Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. But what made him truly special wasn't just his victories. It was his humility. Even after becoming a global star, he still spent time in local pubs, joked with fans, and treated everyone like an old friend. Beyond his achievements, Ricky's openness about his mental health battles made him even more respected. He spoke publicly about his struggles, encouraging others to seek help and never be ashamed of their pain. In doing so, he became more than just a boxer. He became a voice for those fighting silent battles of their own. His passing came as a shock to fans around the world, but nowhere was the pain deeper than in Manchester. For the people there, Ricky wasn't just a champion. He was one of them, a working-class hero who rose to the top but never forgot where he came from. The outpouring of love and tributes from across the globe showed how deeply he had touched lives, inside and outside the ring. As the sun began to set over Manchester that evening, the city seemed to pause. The same streets that once echoed with cheers after every victory were now filled with quiet reflection. The blue and white flags fluttered in the breeze as fans stood in silence, whispering their final goodbyes. Some smiled through their tears, remembering his iconic ring entrances and infectious grin. Others simply stood still, holding their hearts, unable to believe their hero was gone. But if there's one thing Ricky Hatton taught the world, it's that true champions never really leave. They live on in stories, in memories, and in the hearts of those they inspired. His gloves may have been hung up for the last time, but his spirit, the grit, the humor, and the warmth will forever remain part of Manchester's heartbeat. Ricky Hatton's farewell wasn't just about mourning a legend. It was about celebrating a life that defined courage, loyalty, and love. From the boxing ring to the streets of his hometown, his journey will always remind us that greatness isn't measured by titles. It's measured by the people who love you when the fight is over. And for Ricky Hatton, that love will never fade.